Good afternoon. Thank you for attending this event. My name is Jose Melgar, and I plan to spend the next 60 minutes talking about possibilities. Yes, possibilities. I said possibilities because negotiation is a simple process. How you structure a business transaction in a way that everyone that is involved gains the most. There is always a better way, a better deal waiting in the wings of what we see at the beginning. The purpose of this webinar is to make you rethink your own negotiating abilities and make better deals, be able to make better deals following these principles. So some lines about what are my credentials to talk about this matter. I have been for decades working in the corporate area. I have been making deals in every corner on the planet. I have bought and sold companies, developed new markets, struck deals in many different ways. And always the goal was leave no profit remaining in the tables. That is the only purpose of a negotiation training. Because this is opposed to splitting the difference that is what people normally do. Professional negotiating is more than splitting the difference. And this is what we will see how during this webinar. During my 9 years with the SCORE, I have participated in more than 500 sessions with different small business owners that bring their problems, their challenges to SCORE. Always, a good negotiator always assumes that everything is negotiable in a very general rule. Everything is negotiable. And if you take this approach, you will be amazed with the bargains you can strike. Improving your negotiation abilities will give you a competitive advantage and will position your business and yourself for better outcomes because you have day-to-day opportunities for businesses. These are some examples. And of the benefits you can get. Of course, if you are a good negotiator or better than the average, you have more chances to improve the profits of your business because you will detect the opportunities and you will apply some small strategies in order to get the best. Remember, the goal is not to leave profits in the table. I will give you some examples of what is the meaning of these words. If we improve our profits, we improve cash flow. And cash flow is the blood of the business. When we develop the strategies I will discuss with you, we get enhanced, better relationships with our suppliers, with our customers, and with other people in the industry we are dealing. Gives you flexibility in your day-to-day operation because you will see things different than you see before. If you are a good negotiator, you can take advantage of expansions because you can buy businesses at with more benefits than you expected before. Buying or selling businesses or buying or selling assets is a good way to take advantage of the negotiation abilities. We will talk some about risk mitigation. There are some tactics that we use in a professional negotiation that are aiming to reduce the risk Any business person knows that we cannot avoid risk. If we avoid risk, we never do businesses. But a savvy business person knows how to reduce, how to mitigate the risk. And that is part of this conversation we will have today. And this, of course, will give our business more sustainability, has more opportunities to endure, to be still thriving in 10 years, 12 years from now. So some examples of day-to-day in the routine that we see opportunities for negotiation expertise. Contract with suppliers. We have to deal with transportation contracts. We have to deal with vendors, small vendors and big vendors. It depends on what kind of business we have, but we always need to keep open to negotiate in order to find opportunities for profit. Lease agreements. During the pandemic, every week, people came to SCOR looking for support to negotiate deals and looking for lease reduction. And we help many people to obtain reductions in lease contracts using some of the parameters we will see in this exercise. If we are hiring people, if we have never hired people and we start growing our business, and then we need to negotiate in order to attract the person. It's not to take advantage of the worker. It's how to offer something that will be more beneficial for both sides. And the person we are hiring will work happily with us, and we will take all the benefits of the knowledge of this person. If we want to grow by looking for a partner or looking for a deal of collaboration with other company, we need to be good negotiators. Of course, I mentioned if we are buying or selling our business, there are so many deals, alternate deals we can present in that kind of negotiation. I have seen in my life hundreds of situations that result very different of what they started when we are dealing with expert negotiators. If we are asking for a loan, we will be better prepared if we use some tactics for negotiation than if we go just to accept what the other side says. We also will need contracts for professional services if we are going to have a permanent accountant or a permanent person that will review our website, or marketing agencies that will work with us in a permanent basis. It's better that we are better prepared to find and explore opportunities that they can give us better services and maybe in better financial conditions. This was, and also there is another opportunity. People that become experts in negotiation, even they can start their own business as mediation. When two people, two groups are in conflict, they can look for mediators, and the mediator will get a fee in order to find a better solution than were presented or to break the conflict that exists. Of course, we will be talking only until 1 p.m. And this takes 2 years at the university to go into details, but those are opportunities that we see when we become business expert in negotiation. When talking about negotiation, there are some mistakes, some conceptions of thinking that are not in the right direction. And we recommend to avoid these approaches or understand that those are not really negotiation. So good negotiator is not the tricky person. we tend to say, oh, that guy is a good negotiator. Be careful with them. We don't have to be afraid of a good negotiator. We have to be prepared to understand, because a good negotiator will be looking for something that is good for us and for them. So it's not being tricky. It's not the same thing. And also, we could say, well, everybody do that. Everybody can be a negotiator because it's common sense. Buy low, sell high. Well, no. We will see with the examples that there are some instances that is not so simple. Another mistake is not being consistent. If we use these approaches and we develop expertise, it's better that we use that in every instance. Not some cases and other do that as is traditional. We will be leaving benefits in the table. So all the purpose of this is that both parties get the most. And the last line I have here says, the willingness to accept the first offer. It's impressive, the amount of people that come to SCOR with a business plan, and in some of the lines they say, oh, this is what the other part is asking me for this equipment or for this land, and I will have to accept what they are asking for. A good business person never accepts the first offer. The goal should be never pay the asking price. Never pay the full price in a retail store. Always look for alternatives, because those should be a goal, permanent goal of a negotiator. Always negotiating, because always is negotiable. Of course, the best thing in everything, not only for negotiation, it's for every activity in life, is to prepare before. If we go to a negotiation table without being prepared, we will be losing opportunities. We will be accepting what the other part is asking, and we will be missing many things. So before that, we can cover these points. This is the purpose. This is the message we will be having today, the list that is in this page. To win before the bargaining begins is the preparation. So first thing is understanding that position is a starting point in a negotiation, but reality in the negotiation table is that are two interests that are sitting at the table and are interests that are negotiating, are interests that are looking for what is best for both sides. So we need to understand this, and we will go in detail about that. But this is the starting point. Any negotiator should be able to differentiate these two things. It's not the same. Then the power. If somebody is very powerful, I cannot expect to be in the same level in negotiating. I need to understand what is the leverage. Leverage is the power that the two parts have, but one should have most of the times more power than the other one. It's better that we understand what is our power and what is the power behind the other guy. And then the BATNA. BATNA is a concept that if we learn today and we understand what is BATNA, we will be better prepared than before. BATNA is a way to move the leverage. The natural power the other person has doesn't have to be fixed. My BATNA is what I have if I develop a way to create BATNA in every time, I will be better prepared and I can deflect that power. Always, we will need to be creating value, how both parties will gain. And I have some interesting exercises about this. Of course, planning. I have worked during my time as manager in a company, maybe 2 weeks of preparation before going to talk to General Motors about a new project. We were suppliers to General Motors, and we knew that the other guys had expert negotiators at the other side. So we were with a team preparing ourselves with different approaches in order not to fall into their game. That is what we say preparation is how we can win. And win is not that we will win over the other guy. This is not a game of football or soccer or baseball. Win is when both sides get off the table happy because was good for both. It's not charity. It's not that it's good heart. It's that we want a long relationship with our client and better if the client is happy and we are happy. For this, we need also to understand what is effective in communication. I will give some detail about that and always keep in mind ethics. If I come with lies to my customer, the customer will not have trust in my business. And I want the customer for a long time. That is the reason for ethics. So this is what I plan to cover. I hope that if we have questions, we can place them in the Q&A chat and we will address them at the end, if there is time. Let's talk about positions and interest. This is the starting point and we need to clarify what is that. Position is the opening. It's the first move in the game. Like if we are playing chess, it's the first move. It is what the one of both sides say at the beginning, because negotiation starts with somebody wants something that somebody else has. Let's say that I am walking on the street and a strange person comes to me and says, give me $20. I have the possibility to say yes or no. That is a position. It's the first asking, and the other side has the possibility to say yes or no. If I say no, it blocks the negotiation. So what our positions could be asking price for assets. Somebody is trying to sell their business and then say, I want $10 million for my business. That is position. There are no numbers behind. There are no conversations. It's, I want $10 million. Somebody comes and asks, calls by phone. I ask you for a donation for this and this, for the sheriff office, I need $20. So it's asking. They don't say why. They don't give you explanation what the way they will do with your money. It's just asking. It's the asking price. Salary increase demands. So the union comes to a company and says, we want 10% increase. It's the opening position. It's what will give a start to the negotiation. So then interest is what is behind, what they don't say in the first word. So the guy who came to me in the street and asked for $20, then I ask, because I could say no, and I keep my walking in the street. But if I say, why you need $20? What? The person says, well, you know, I just arrived into town and I lost everything. I had not eaten in 3 days. I am really desperate. I am in a big need. I am sick. So then I could say, well, I understand. I see your problem. I cannot give you 20, but maybe I give you 10. So I go away happy because I think I did a good thing. And the other guy is better with $10 than with zero. But it's because I ask for the interest. Why was the asking? So it's the same thing in a negotiation. It's the deeper, not said desires, what are the values that are behind. And in order to have a better negotiation and find what is best for both sides, is to understand what are the interests. So good negotiators focus on interests, not on positions. That is why this is key. Focus on interest. Now, why we have two halves of orange in this page? I heard this many years ago and in college, and I like the example. So there is a woman, housewife, that hears yelling in the kitchen. She has a teenage daughter and a teenage son. And they are fighting and yelling and saying, I need it, both sides, I need it. This woman goes to the kitchen and says, what is happening here? There is the last orange, only one orange is left. And both sides say, I need it. She wants peace. She wants to be fair. It's important. She wants to be fair. And what she does, she splits the orange. Say, okay, take your half, go to your room and leave me in peace. So both of them go away, mumbling, not happy. And they go with that. The boy goes to his room, peels the orange, throws the skin to waste, and eats the meat. The girl goes to her room, peels the half of the orange, and grinds the skin and use it to lace a cake she is preparing, and throws the meat to waste. So there was waste in both cases, and they were not happy. If the mother would have asked why they needed it, she could have given all the skin to one side and all the meat to the other side. That is negotiation. That is not splitting the difference. That is why splitting the difference is not the best for any of the sides. But it's the traditional bargaining. And people say that is a good negotiator because it's good haggling. It's good insisting and persisting until the other party accepts to split the difference. But splitting the difference is not the best, as we see. This is what, and I will explain in business another example of this later. But this is the big difference in positions versus interests. Now let's talk about power dynamics in negotiation. At the table, there are two sets of power. As I said, sometimes it's one very big compared to the other one. Sometimes could be balanced. But is how it is what it is. So, but what are the dynamics? Is because power is what will influence, is what will drive the negotiation in one direction or the other, in the natural way. And power can be manifest in various forms. So I will mention here 4, but there are more, but this is just to illustrate how the power can appear. Coercive power is, for example, when somebody has hostages, it's coercive. You give me what I want or else. It's coercive. It's using force, brute force, or in businesses, if I have a small business and I go to negotiate with Walmart, I want to sell my product to Walmart. Walmart is a giant. Walmart will tell me what they will pay. Will tell me you will deliver this date, I will pay you this day, this is what I will pay you. It's too big, the power they have for me. So it's better that I understand what and see if I can do something. But that is big difference in power. There is also informational power. If I know something about the other side that the guy is not saying, but I know that gives me some power. What if I am negotiating to buy a business and I know that the owner has been talking to banks about bankruptcy? So I know that that person is willing to sell at lower price than they are telling me. So that gives me power. That is informational power. There is also power by authority. The governor in the state says, I will put you a new tax. I will grow the taxes starting this day. So I can do nothing about that. And this is there is the expert power. If I have knowledge, technical knowledge, and I do partnership with somebody and say, okay, you will be the investor in money, but I will invest my knowledge. And then I will have 51% of the company because my knowledge is worth more than the money you are placing. So that is negotiation. So I have to exercise the power of my knowledge, the expert. Is what happens in all those deals, international deals, that the companies that have knowledge, that have high technology, are stronger than the manufacturers they hire in other countries, because they can retrieve that knowledge in the moment they want or they need. And of course, the other party is left with nothing. So those are some examples. When we are negotiating, it's important that we know what powers are at the table. Then, power is not the only thing that will drive the negotiation. Now we are talking the purpose of this conversation is BATNA. BATNA means best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So I need to prepare in advance and know what is my BATNA when I go there. Is the fallback option. If I go and say, I want to buy this land, they are asking for $1 million for the land, and I am offering 600,000. I know that the price will be somewhere in between, but I don't know where. But there is a point that I say, if they want more than 800,000, I will go away. Because I have other opportunity for 800,000 in other investment, in other land. That is my BATNA. But the other guy doesn't know that. They don't know where I am willing to arrive. So I always need to have a fallback situation. People would say plan B. Okay, that could be another name. But this is in the negotiation terms. BATNA is known to all professional negotiators. And if you are a mediator and you go to both sides and you try to understand what is their BATNA in order that you can find what is the best point. So people consider the BATNA as an insurance policy. So if I don't reach an agreement with this guy, then I will go to the other. I don't have to accept what this person is asking. That is why I never accept the asking price, because I have a partner. If I go to a store and they have a price for a certain product, and I know that there are 3 other stores that are competitors where maybe I can find this product, so there is a partner. But if there is only one store with that product, there is no partner. So we need to get familiar with this. BATNA is best alternative to a negotiated agreement. The purpose of a negotiation is to reach an agreement. But if that is not possible, what do I do? In that way, we can deflect the leverage the other party has. Because you have other way to go. But we need to do that in the preparation. In those 2 weeks that I was mentioning before, if we are dealing with Ford or General Motors, we design the partner. What will we do if they don't accept our terms? If the negotiation is a smaller one than the one I mentioned, maybe the partner is determined in 2 hours. But we need to explore that before. And this is being used since 1981, when the book Getting to Yes, that was the first book of negotiation that appeared in the market out of the universities, was in 1981. So since then, the BATNA is common use in conversations about negotiation. This is a diagram of a BATNA. And the main points here are point A, B, C, and D, of course. So the bar on top, let's say that we are talking about selling or buying a land and the asking price is $1 million. That would be D, point D. So the figure at the right is the seller, and he's asking $1 million. That person says, my point C is, let's say 500,000. But they don't tell, he's asking 1 million. But he has in his information, in his heart, C is the lowest he is willing to go. And if I am the buyer, my offer is A. I say, I will give you 400,000. And the guy, and I say, in the end, I am willing to buy this at 650 if he doesn't budge. But what is the partner? I say, at 650,000, if he doesn't accept, I can go and buy other land in the next street, because I already have seen that, and that will be, but I would like to get this at 400,000. So then nobody tells the other side what is the point. And a negotiator, when he's preparing, tries to find out what will be the BATNA of the other side to see if there is a possible agreement. That is why this is important. It's not just to sit like the 2 kids fighting for an orange. It's try to find out what is moving that person to ask for $1 million. And then maybe we can find alternatives that we can offer to that person. I will give you some example of what I did with a company in South America in a case like this. But what I want to introduce is, what is the meaning of partner? Any negotiator starts by talking about this. What is my partner? What is your partner? How can we create a partner? And now we see that there is, in this same diagram, a point that is called zone of potential agreement. Because really, no decisions will be made out of the ZOPA is the point. We don't know where is the ZOPA, but we will never be able to get that business less than 500,000, and he will never get 800,000 from me, because my BATNA, my point where I will go away, my red line is 650. So the price, if we reach an agreement, should be between 500 and 650. 500, that is C for him, and 650, that is for me. There is where dealings will be done. If there is no ZOPA, there is no deal. There is no possible agreement. So in order to manage our BATNA, because we need to be confident in what we have established our BATNA, it's important that we don't reveal if my BATNA is weak, because I could say, well, I have the opportunity because I saw another land that I think I can get by 650. That is weak. I have not talked to the other guy. I don't know if they already sold it yesterday. So it's a weak BATNA. I cannot tell that. I cannot show that. So the other side here only needs to know that I have other possibilities, but I don't say what are those possibilities. And even when in the last conversation, I say, okay, I will go buy this and this, that should be at the end, never too early, because then they will try to talk me out of it. They will tell me bad things of the other land. They will tell me, oh, those are in fighting with the heirs, so there is a legal demand against that. They will try to convince me not to do that. So I don't show my BATNA. And in the meantime, I try to improve it by finding other places where I could put my money less than 650 in order to have be in a better position. But in the end, I will not bluff. Because if I say, okay, I will go away because I don't take your offer, I will go and will buy it somewhere else, and the guy say, okay, go away. Maybe I can find that I don't have any of both deals. So I need to have the other one with some security that it will happen. So the BATNA needs to be managed. Now let's talk about creating value when we are negotiating. So the idea is that it's better to expand the pie than fight for the slices. It's a derivation of what we saw with the orange. Is to identify what are the opportunities that could be other than just accepting the price or the conditions or whatever is what we are negotiating. It's not only selling land or so. The most important thing is that professional negotiator doesn't see negotiating as win or lose. Many people say, for somebody to win, other has to lose. That is outdated. That is splitting the orange. And I will tell you now here my example. We need to work. So working in a negotiation is to explore other opportunities, other possibilities, other information that has not been said. And that is what is the work of the professional negotiator. One example about this. Many years ago, I was working for a company that was an oil filter manufacturer in the US. That company had the highest quality, one of the 3 or 4 better oil filter makers in the US. They wanted to start an operation in a country in South America. But in that market, there was a leader. There was a company that had more than 40 years serving that market, but their quality was very old, was outdated. They did not improve, they did not update the machinery. Their standards of quality were very old, and of course was never comparable to the quality the American company was willing to put in that market. So in order to take that market, take over the market, they approach that company and say, we will buy you. This company says, give me $10 million. And the financial guys in this side say, no, I give you 5 million. And then they were bargaining for 2 years, stopping conversation, regaining, and so. So when I participated, the conversation was 6.5 million versus 10 million. The local guys insisted in 10 million because they were always trying to split the difference. So then I asked the American guys, why you want to buy that? Why? What is behind? Their quality is so bad. Why do you want that? What will you do with that? They say, no, we want to buy it to close it because we will build. We will put a new investment there with a very modern plant, and we will have our quality, and we'll take over the market with better products. So then we designed a proposal for this. We went to the other guy and said, what if I give you $5 million and a 5-year contract that you make components? So you see the picture at the side are all the components of a filter. But what the client, the final client, the user of the car sees is the external side. So the cup and also the thread that is in the lower point. What if we give you $5 million and a 5-year contract, and you keep your company working, making components, and we will do only the final assembly, because that will have our quality levels, and you will keep your people working. And in that way, we were saving a big portion of the investment in putting a new plant. So that is a way to explore what is better. So we bought the company for $5 million, and we avoided an investment. That is creating value. And they were happy, and we were happy. Now going to other point is, in order to have a successful negotiation, we need effective. When I say effective, is that they reach the point and they give results. We need effective communication skills, is to build rapport. I cannot go and talk to Ford or GM trying to be tough or to say that I know a lot, that I am intelligent. That doesn't work. The other guys have very expert negotiators, and that doesn't work. Show doesn't work. It's better that I create rapport, that I know that we are friends, that we want to work with them for 20 years and more. And that will be in the way I communicate. When I give my message clear, concise, and I listen to them attentive, trying to understand their position, because if I don't try to understand their position, we cannot work in these details, as I was mentioning before. Assertiveness. So when I give a response, that should be clear, no ambiguities. Should be very clear what is my proposal. There is no fine print. If we are friends, there is no fine print. If we want to be friends for many years. Also, it's important for a negotiator who have good questioning skills, because you will find out the interest that are behind the position just by questioning, by asking questions. You cannot interrogate. The other person is a professional, will not accept to be interrogated. Is to have ways to ask the right questions, to reach a point where we can find alternatives in order that both sides gain. I can transmit with my body language and also see what is their body language to see if my message is reaching or not. So that is why in my preparation, we were rehearsing. You will say this thing, and then this guy will say the other thing. If they offer this, then we will ask for a break. So we will rehearsing what is the communication we want to bring to the table, because that reflects what is my business, how serious, how professional I am. What happens is the other guy is a tough negotiator. Sometimes the other guy has not taken this course. The other guy is trying to work by yelling and demanding, and then we need to maintain emotional control. So if we are dealing with a union, I have dealt with unions, big, small, tough, and it's important to maintain emotional control. They come and yell and they hit the table. But if I want to get the most of the conversation, I don't want to win over them. I want to avoid the higher cost they are asking for. I know that I will have to give something, but I will try to give the less and to keep them happy, because I need those workers to work happy for my company. So I need to listen and understand what are their motivations, even they are yelling. I keep my voice clear and low. But I will need to assert my position. This is my position, even though I am not yelling, but this is where I want to reach, in order that they don't think that I am weak. I cannot be weak in negotiation. And of course, we have been talking about interest better than positions. And also, when the guy is tough, I need to be prepared to walk away. I cannot accept to be roll over. If the things are so tough, there is a point that I say, okay, reaching this point, I will walk away. I will not budge. Because in those cases, remember that if we don't reach what we are asking for, the worst thing is to be where I am today. They don't give me what I am looking for. So it's where I am today. I have lost nothing. But I need to be clear in that. That is the worst thing that can happen, to be where I am today. So there are ways to increase my influence in the negotiation. This is how I will approach the decision maker. If I am not talking to decision makers, I am wasting my time, because they will be going to other people that they are not seeing me, they are not seeing my body language, they are not trying to get my report. I am wasting time. If I want to change the way they are approaching, I need to understand how they think, put myself in their shoes. Of course, build relationship, be trustworthy. If they don't trust me, the negotiation will not work, and be credible. So those are the foundations of any good relationship: trust and credibility. So preparing for the negotiation is tomorrow. So first we start, what are the interests? What are the positions they are presenting? What are our interests? What will be our position? What we want to get of this negotiation? We need to say that. We will not go to the table to see what happens. We need to go with goals and what is the desired outcome. Even if we don't reach it, we need to have a goal. We need to know where is my BATNA and what is the red line, when I will walk away. And I will do my best effort with my team, with people that I am talking to, what could be their goals and their interest, because they are not saying, they just sell their position. And then what will be my motivation to continue if they keep saying no? And what is their motivation to accept talking to me? Because if they feel that they are too strong, they say, no, I will not waste time talking to you. This is my condition, take it or leave it. I need to understand that at the very beginning. And also how I can create value for them in order that they pay attention to me. Like the example of the filters. So if I have a strategy, if I have points that are written and discussed, I will be focused. I will have confidence in myself. I can get a better result. So now, we don't have to do it alone. Fortunately, there are resources that are available. All the purpose of this webinar is to explain that SCORE is a resource that is free. SCORE in the US has almost 12,000 volunteers as last month. In last year, we had almost 300,000 mentoring sessions and almost 300,000 workshops, people attending in all the US. So we have helped people to create new businesses and new jobs. And what is important is that it's free of charge. SCORE will never ask you to pay anything for a mentoring. You can ask for a one-to-one mentor, even if it's to review what is your strategy for a negotiation. I have many people, I would say once a month, somebody that is coming to me saying, I am buying a business. This is the business. Help me to calculate what is the price I could be offering. Help me in the negotiation points. There are people that buy and sell businesses for a life. And they are talking to me constantly for different approaches. And people say, I want to sell my business. Help me to find what should be my talking points to put it for sale. So SCORE is there, and everybody can benefit for that. We just ask for a mentoring, and this is the website. We put our request at score.org at Pasco Hernando. That is the chapter where I am part of. So at this point, since the time is almost over, is the point that we can address the questions. So I see that there are two Q&A. What advice would you give to negotiate with companies that usually do not adjust pricing? I'm in the restaurant business and we would like to attempt to trade locally if possible. But what can I do about my national vendors? So I would say that ask for a mentor that will go in detail to your cost structure, and you can prepare a strategy with your mentor and SCORE, because that would be a very specific case. And then you can plan a strategy for that. Another question, what is the usual amount of negotiation sessions that indicate that morale will be declining exponentially if a deal is not made soon? Is that determined by culture, by personalities? No, I would say that if we are talking in the day-to-day businesses, no more than 3 sessions. If we are trying to buy a company that is worth $3 billion, will be 6 months. Sessions every 15 days or so, with lawyers involved and many other things. But for a date, if I am dealing with a transportation company, 2 or 3 sessions. So it depends of the size of what is involved. And I could say, well, if I am trying to save $3,000 in a year, so I will not spend more than 2 sessions or phone calls or whatever. It depends on what is the interest that we have behind. Can sending someone else to negotiate for you be seen as a strength, assuming you send in someone like a lawyer, specialist, or other professional? That person should be given full authority. If that person goes and negotiate and say, this is the deal, I accept it, you cannot say after, oh, but I am not in agreement with that. That person should know what is the partner. You should tell that lawyer or that expert, the partner is this point. Try to get it better than this. And then that would work because the other side will expect that they are dealing with the decision maker. That is important. But yet, many people do that. What is the best way to make sure your ego does not go into the negotiation with you? Is to rehearse. If you ask somebody, or even let's say that you ask for a stranger like a score mentor, that person will come and sit with you for 1 hour and rehearse your points and will tell you when your ego is in between. If you say, you ask that person, tell me if I am too egoist, if I am too arrogant, and that person will tell you, okay, you better lower your tone or you better do this. That is the way to rehearse. Well, I think this was the last one, or I think that we have reached the time we have allotted for this. Thank you for your time, and I expect that this will be beneficial. If we only learn about the partner, I would say that that would be a gain for today. So now we have finished. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your participation, and you are invited for other webinars that we present. Our chapter presents 4 or 5 webinars every month. And we will be having one dedicated in Spanish if there is somebody that is interested in July. So thank you again. Have a good day and good luck with your negotiations.